They called his name wrong. They always did. Elijah Grayson. The officer said, dragging the syllables like they didn't matter. Elijah stood anyway. He had learned early that correcting people only made things worse. The parole hearing room was smaller than he imagined. Beige walls, one long table, 3 people sitting behind it like judges on television, except they didn't look at him as a person. They looked at him like a file that had learned to breathe. Elijah swallowed. He had practiced this day for 5 years. The woman in the middle adjusted her glasses. Mr. Grayson, she said, reading from a folder, "You're here today for your parole. Review related to case number." The numbers blurred together. Elijah nodded slowly, even though his chest felt tight. "Yes, ma'am." She slid a stack of papers across the table toward him. "These are your parole acknowledgment and responsibility forms. Please read them carefully and sign at the bottom." Elijah stared at the papers. Black ink on white pages. Paragraphs stacked on paragraphs. His mouth went dry. The letters might as well have been symbols from another planet. I'm sorry," he said quietly. "Could you explain what they say?" The man on the left raised an eyebrow. "They're standard forms," he said. "You read them, you sign them." Elijah felt heat creep up his neck. "I can't read," he said. The words came out rushed, like if he said them fast enough they'd disappear. "I mean, not like that. Not good." The room went still. "You're telling us," she said, "that you can't read the parole forms?" "Yes, ma'am." "How did you complete your previous paperwork?" "I had help," Elijah said. "Usually another inmate, or the counsel would tell me where to sign." The man on the right leaned forward. "So you're illiterate?" Elijah hated that word. It felt like being called broken. "I never learned," he said. "I tried. The woman closed the folder. "Mr. Grayson," she said, her voice cooling, "understanding written conditions is a fundamental requirement for parole. These documents outline your responsibilities, restrictions, and consequences. If you can't read them, how can we be sure you'll comply?" Elijah's heart began to pound. "I'll do whatever it says," he said quickly. "You can tell me. I'll remember." "That's not sufficient," the man on the left said. "Parole requires personal accountability." Elijah leaned forward in his chair. "Please," he said, "I've done everything you asked. No write-ups. I work in the kitchen. I mentor the younger guys. I stay out of trouble." The woman flipped a page in the file. "You were convicted of armed robbery." "I never touched a gun," Elijah said. "It wasn't mine. I was there." "You were there," she repeated. "Yes, ma'am. And I paid for it. 8 years. 7 years, the man corrected. Elijah nodded. "Yes, sir. 7 years. I've learned. I won't come back." The woman tapped her pen against the table. "Mr. Grayson, parole is a privilege, not a right." "I know," Elijah said. "I'm just asking for a chance." She slid the papers back toward herself. "Without your ability to read and comprehend these documents," she said, "this board cannot approve your parole at this time." The words landed heavy. "Denied." Just like that. "So that's it?" Elijah asked. The man on the right nodded. "You may reapply in 2 years." 2 years. Elijah's vision blurred. "But I can learn," he said. "I will learn. I just need time." "You've had time," the woman said. "This hearing is concluded." The guard stepped forward. Elijah didn't move. "I didn't know it would matter," he whispered. "Nobody ever told me." The guard placed a hand on his shoulder. "Let's go." As Elijah was let out, the papers remained on the table, untouched, unread. Elijah didn't cry when he got back to his cell. He sat on the lower bunk and stared at the wall while his cellmate Marcus played cards with himself on the top bunk. "They denied me," Elijah said finally. Marcus stopped shuffling. "Why?" Elijah laughed softly. "Because I can't read." Marcus let out a low whistle. "That's cold." "I told him the truth," Elijah said. "Thought it was better than pretending." Marcus climbed down and sat beside him. "You know how this place works," he said. "Truth don't always help." Elijah pressed his palms into his eyes. "I'm not dumb," he said. I just never got it. Marcus nodded. School didn't treat everybody the same. Elijah thought of his childhood classroom, how the teacher would sigh when he stumbled over words, how the other kids would snicker, how he learned early to act out instead of being embarrassed. By 12, he stopped trying. By 16, he stopped going. By 22, he was standing in a convenience store while his friend waved a gun. By 23, he was in prison. I don't want to die in here, Elijah said. Marcus looked at him. Then you better start learning, he said. For real this time? Elijah looked up. How? Marcus smiled slightly. I know a guy. The prison library was quiet in a way that made Elijah nervous. Rows of books stretched out like a maze. Mrs. Calder sat behind the desk. Her gray hair pulled into a tight bun. Marcus nudged Elijah forward. This is him, Marcus said. The one I told you about. Mrs. Calder looked Elijah up and down. You want to learn to read? Elijah nodded. Yes, ma'am. How old are you? 31. And you've never learned? Elijah shook his head. Not really. She studied his face. This won't be easy, she said, and it won't be fast. I don't care, Elijah said. I've got time. She slid a thin book across the desk. Start with this. Elijah picked it up. The cover showed a picture of a boy and a dog. He felt ridiculous. Mrs. Calder noticed. You start where you start, she said. Pride will only slow you down. Elijah nodded. He opened the book. The letters swam. Mrs. Calder pointed. That word is the... Elijah repeated it. They went one word at a time. He stumbled. He mispronounced. He got frustrated. More than once. He wanted to slam the book shut and walk out. But he remembered the parole room, the closed folder, the word denied. So he stayed. Day after day, week after week. He learned sounds, then syllables, then sentences. Other inmates teased him. Look at you, one laughed. Back in kindergarten. Elijah ignored them. Every word he learned felt like a brick laid in a wall between him and the man he used to be. 2 years passed slower than the first 7. But when the notice came for his next parole hearing, Elijah felt something new. Confidence. He walked into the room, holding his head high. The same woman sat in the middle. The same men on either side. She slid the papers across the table again. Please read and sign, she said. Elijah took a breath. He picked up the papers. The words didn't blur this time. They stood still. He read. Slowly, carefully, but he read. When he finished, he signed his name. The room was quiet. The woman looked at him differently now. Mr. Grayson, she said, you've made progress. Yes, ma'am, Elijah said. I worked hard. She nodded. After a moment, she smiled. Parole is granted. Elijah exhaled. For the first time in years, the door opened. Like, share and drop your thought on this video in the comment. Subscribe.